tell us what's going on. This is the 200th episode of Trends in the Housing Market.
Wow, that's impressive. 200 shows. That's pretty good, Mike. Congratulations, I think.
Well, I try to warn, not even warn, or address this major issue we're having. So maybe if I break out in song and dance once in a while when I'm reading articles, people might get it.
Yeah. 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 Well, I hear what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
How are things otherwise, Mike? How's your family?
We're doing good. I just put up a punching bag in our storage room, and I've been hitting the bag for a while, practicing some karate, teaching the kids karate and all that stuff.
That's good. That's really good. Yeah, you get to spend a lot of time with your family, and that's really good. I've never actually said that to you, but I think it's admirable that you really put your family first, and you're not all about the almighty buck. So that's
no, almighty buck can only get you gas to get to El Pueblo, and that's it.
Absolutely. Someone said something to me the other day, and it's a friend or a mentor of mine who's I guess in his mid to late 50s. So he's older than us, Mike. But at the same point in time, he said, living the dream is it's concocted, if you will, of many things. But living in your dream house doesn't necessarily mean it's the Taj Mahal. Your dream house is a paid-for house with no mortgage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really good, Mike. You left the rat race, and you went ahead and you bought a house free and clear, and now you actually get to enjoy your family, and your kids will remember this.
Oh, I know. And family is everything. Family, people don't understand how important. Well, everyone knows that. I don't have to stress it. People know how important family is and what family means, right?
Yeah. I mean, I know everything changed when I had a family, and my own family, that is. So, I mean, it's you start making decisions, and completely different. I guess that's why, your car insurance goes down. I don't know, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, where I lived in a small town, my car insurance did go down quite a bit. And the cost of living just went down because I don't drive as much. So I'm not burning so much fuel. I drive maybe 85 to 150 kilometers a month.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the chances of you getting into a car accident are very, very slim to none. It's just one of those things where I drive every day. One could argue that I actually don't even work. I drive more than I work.
You do. Not lately, because I think COVID is unclogged the streets, hasn't it?
Oh, Mike, it's been a dream. It's probably brought things back to like the early 2000s, where you could get from one part of the city to the other. You know what I mean? From Mississauga to Scarborough or Whitby, if you will, out that way, and in Ontario, that is, or the Greater Toronto area. From east to west in like 25, 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's actually unheard of.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, and that's not even taking a toll, the 407 toll road.
Okay. It's not taking the 407. I get it. Yeah, toll roads are expensive, and they're only good when it's congested, right? And the 407 is going to lose money now.
Yeah, are they ever? That's that's kind of crazy. But I mean, you know what? It's one of those things where a lot of people are going to lose money. A lot of people are losing money as we speak, and that's a big concern. But it was bound to happen. This correction was always going to happen. It's just a situation whether it was going to be later on in 2020, throughout 2021. But this COVID-19 is definitely not the cause, but the trigger, as I've said many times before, and it's just really, really accelerated this recession. and a lot of people are actually, figuring out where things are, and it's not good. I mean, we have over 500,000 people in Canada that had zero reserves.
I do.
You there, Mike?
I'm right here. I think things are going to get a lot worse before they get better, because every time, I don't know what the deal is with Ontario, but they keep announcing that it's tapering off. Cases are going down with the whole COVID thing. But the problem is the cases are going down because they're no longer testing as much as they used to. But Quebec, cases are skyrocketing through the roof because everyone's getting tested.
Yeah, well, that's all changed today, Mike. Dougie Ford was on there, and he on the news, and he was really pissed. And it's one of those things where there was a considerable amount of a jump in cases today. I'm sure somebody in the comments section has those figures readily available. I don't want to, overindulge here and say something that isn't true, but it was substantial. And more people are dying in Ontario than obviously last week. We have senior homes in Bob Cajun in the Kawarthas, Mike.
I heard about that.
Like 24 or anyways, 20 or 30 seniors are dead now. Yeah. So it's a lot. But I mean, things are happening, bit by bit. And unfortunately, we're starting to see, as many people have said, including the McChronicle, he had said that, risk happens fast, and he's absolutely correct. I got to give him credit there. He's a brilliant mind, and he knows his stuff. And he's also said, banks are pricing in risk, and that's what's happening right now. You don't have to be an economist or, a dumb plumber to figure that out. At the end of the day, they're pricing in risk because risk happens fast, and that's what's happening right now. Home equity lines of credits are actually being, revised down to 10 to 20% of the original loan amount. I have personal friends that had $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 lines of credit, and they've evaporated by about 80%, 90%. And some of those guys are actually laid off, Mike, and they were, fully intending, to weather the storm and run up their heat locks a bit just to get through things. And the bank had said, well, listen, you really only use $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 of your home equity line of credit, your heat lock here. So unfortunately, we're just we're take $150,000, $180,000 away, and we'll give you $20,000 to $50,000 worth of a heat lock secured underneath your house. And they don't have to have a reason. They're pricing in risk, and they know that the house that secures that heat lock with respect to it being an asset is declining daily.
So okay, hold on a sec. So yes, they're pricing in risk, but not only that, they're deleveraging homes that don't have the ceiling for it or the equity levels to support that transaction.
Absolutely, for sure. They're doing that. So I mean, if you did have $100,000, $200,000 line of credit, and you only use 10% of it, 20%, even 50% of it, they will go ahead and they will. They're not so much. You can't use the term calling it because they're not calling it in its entirety. They're not. In the term call means anything that you owe, they want back now. They're not advertising it. Well, they are for some. They are advertising heat locks if they're fully, leveraged.
I own a big chunk of the Bank of America building in 1290 Avenue of the Americas.
Once, twice, 3 times a year, for in paychecks or something had come up, or they needed an emergency repair done on the quite have it. You know what I mean? So they use that $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 worth of their heat lock. But yeah, They no longer have these larger heat locks. And this isn't everybody, but this is slowly but surely happening because banks are trying to control risk. They know what's going on here. And there's other situations too. Gary Medeiros sent me something today, and it was brilliant. And you should see the actual reaction that it got from many, many, many people with respect to, realtors chiming in, a number of different people chiming in. But I mean, at this point, you did hear what Scotiabank did with the heat locks, correct, Mike?
Yeah, I brought it up in the at the beginning of the show.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty crazy. And at this point, I've made a call on that, and to add on that, people with new builds, example, they own a house right now. And they have a heat lock, and they've gone ahead and they've bought another house that they fully intend to move into for the purposes of their principal residence. Subsequently, they look at it as a speculation property or some sort of an investment property because they actually haven't sold their existing property. So they can no longer use their heat locks to fund that deposit structure on that condo or that new build. Where they needed, $25,000 down for, in terms of 25,000 times 5 or times 7 deposit structure. You know what I mean?
Yep.
To get to that 150K down.
Continue.
You there, Mike?
Yeah, I'm right here listening.
Yeah, I mean, with respect to this whole thing, I mean, we're going to have a very, very unique jobs report. Francis Donald brought something out. Again, Gary had brought it to my attention. Francis Donald is the chief economist or chief strategist with Manulife. And the consensus is not great. At this point, we're going to have, another 500,000, jobs lost. City today, City Financial has basically gone on BNN and said that they're actually predicting 1.1 million people to be out of work in terms of the anticipated job report that's coming out.
That's what they're anticipating. Yeah. Hold on a sec. We got Rand Ross who sent me $20 on Super Chat, and he has a question for you.
What a guy.
Huh?
What a rich guy.
$20. Now, with all the Super Chats I collected today, I have enough gas to get to Seattle right now.
Really?
I do. I legitimately have enough gas to get to Seattle, like downtown Seattle. Okay, Rand Ross is asking, do you think banks will continue to loan to people with high credit scores, or will they be cut off too?
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to answer that because I kind of have the overall, I guess, I have the overall picture in terms of the new world of lending. Ron Butler had put this out, and I can't remember for the life of me who sent this to me. But Ron Butler put out a few things in terms of, the new beginning. And just for your listeners and what your listeners need to know, this is from April 2nd. So it's very recent. And in terms of the new world of mortgage lending, they've already started to tighten up lending, and they've already started to scrutinize people's employment in terms of classification. Mm-hmm. So if you're in the restaurant business, or you're in travel and tourism, or you're a pilot, or you're a manager of a hotel, you're not getting a mortgage right now. End of story. You do not have employment that is viable at the current moment.
So right now people won't be getting, because they can't verify employment. Because if let's say it's an unsecured loan, right? An unsecured loan, you got to bring in pay stubs and you got to verify employment. Right? Yeah, you got to verify employment. So regardless, right now, even with a high credit score, they ain't going to touch you So unless you have at least maybe 50% to put down, they might work with you.
Well, they might if it's private funds.
Yeah, private funds. Yeah, 50% to put down. I think they might help you out for a mortgage, but for an unsecured loan or unsecured line of credit, because they can't verify employment, I don't think they're allowed legally by the bank by the banks to allow them to lend that money legally because they can't verify employment.
That's right. Absolutely. Underneath the recourse laws of mortgage laws in the province of Ontario and other provinces, excluding Alberta and Saskatchewan, because Alberta and Saskatchewan, they do not have recourse to go after anybody that defaults if there's a deficiency.
Right.
But that said, you're absolutely right. Private money might do it, but private money's gone. Private money, I mean, it is probably 12 plus 6, 12 plus 8 right now.
Yeah.
You're paying 18 to 20% for private money, or they're not doing the deal.
Right.
And a lot of hedge funds, in terms of the redemptions, they're not allowing redemptions right now.
No.
So the private lease is done. But to answer that question in terms of there, Ron Butler put out a tweet in terms of the new world of mortgage lending. He says it began today, not for teachers or for Loblaws managers or for police officers with good scores, but for realtors. And here goes. So in terms of realtors, I don't care what you made the last 2 years. We need to wait and see what you make this year before we refinance your house.
So they want to get to find out, because now there's a turn in the road, right?
Absolutely. He goes on to say 677 credit score. No, sorry, we don't provide mortgages for anything less than 720 today.
Right.
You want a heat lock, home equity line of credit? Oh, sorry, we've withdrawn that product from our line.
Yeah, it no longer exists. Hold on, we got the Lloyd here who sent me $10 Canadian. Now I have enough gas now with this extra $10 to get me to Salem, Oregon. Anyways, so the Lloyd is saying, how do you think Alberta will fare after the COVID-19 oil price crisis subsides? You're going to see a lot of, let me answer this one because I am buying and selling oil. I bought oil when it reached to 19-ish, $20-ish a barrel. I jumped on the bandwagon then, week and a half ago, and I'm in the green right now. But if the COVID subsides and everything goes back to what it was, you'll see a $55 to $65 barrel, because right now Russia is kind of working with OPEC and all the other basket of nations, kind of working things out right now. We have this problem with oil, not because, we have an oversupply. That's one thing, but we have this problem with Iran, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, and all these other oil countries that they can't figure out or come to terms on how much oil they should cut back to keep the price of oil at a fair price. Is oil going to go back to 60, 65 a barrel? Yes. Maybe by next year, you'll see that again. If you jump on the wagon early, but you might still see a drop. And I've even heard a rumor that you might even see negative oil prices. Yeah, you heard it here first. Negative oil prices. Yeah, I'm not making this up.
Yeah, in Alberta, I could absolutely.
What's that?
I said in Alberta, I could absolutely hear and see that happening, and it's kind of crazy. So was that person in the live chat asking where Alberta is going to be economically speaking?
No. How do you think Alberta will fare after the crisis, COVID-19 oil price crisis subsides? Well, oil prices will go back to 60, 65 bucks a barrel. And I always have a little bit in oil, Steve. And I've told you this, Steve, so many times. Why do I have a little bit invested in oil? Why, Steve? Do you remember what I told you many times?
Mike, I can't remember. I'm sorry.
In case we go to war.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if we go to war, you're going to see oil go back to 120 bucks a barrel, like literally overnight.
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. And getting back in terms of, the way that lending is, if you want me to finish off, I will, Mike. I'll just
hold on. I got a question for you from somebody else. From Atta Ugorsi, sent me $5, is asking, what if you're refinancing a mortgage? Will it be hard if you've been paying with no problems?
Okay, so yes, it's one of those things where it comes down to capacity to repay
That's
and
right.
what your current situation is, and it's been said by Ron Butler as well in terms of you know um, you know refinancing. How do I put it this way? They're going to refinance your home as long as you have a job, but they're changing the way that they do things. They're going to consolidate your debts. If you're if you need to consolidate your debts and or refinance your mortgage, that's okay. But they're going to cut up all of your credit cards and pay off all your car loans. That's what's happening right now.
A full consolidation.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things where, they're not going to consider electrical or plumbers' incomes until, you're back to work. And the same thing goes for your hairstylist income or your independent physiotherapist income, so on and so forth. Now, that's not all banks and that's not all clients, but, as he said in his tweet or whatnot, but it is most banks. I would say it's about 80 to 90% of banks are following suit here.
So when you go into Ata Ugursoy, if you go to your bank and ask them or you could call them, I would call them first before you go in person, so you don't make a trip down there, and ask them, hey, you guys doing that full consolidation I heard about, like other banks are doing? And they'll probably take a look at what you're sitting at, and you said you made payments with no problems. They'll probably refinance you and maybe pay off a student loan, a couple of credit cards, just to put you on a better, more consolidated pattern, and you're not paying a blended rate anymore, and you're not paying. When you're paying a blended rate, you're paying interest here, interest here, interest here, and if you could just pay one interest rate, then you're kind of more under control, in control of your finances.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to remember, Mike, that 500,000 people, more than 500,000 Canadians, applied for mortgage deferral, and that was just in the first 2 weeks of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't even want to know what those numbers look like for April.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. But it's well past 500,000 now.
Yes.
And at the same point in time, you got to look past the layers. That basically means 500,000, people that had mortgages in Canada, Canadians have, no job or reduction significantly in income. And that means that they have zero savings and they have no investments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you mean? They don't have a little bit of money in oil?
No.
Or gold?
They don't
Gold?
have money. No, absolutely not. They don't. They have nothing unless those people are actually lying to their lender. But I don't know why you would do that, because that mortgage deferral is going to end up bite you in the arse, because it's all compounded interest. And if you didn't have the money to pay your mortgage today, okay, what makes you think you're going to have the money in 2 months, 6 months from now? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I got Living the Dream is asking here. I was planning on buying a car in a few weeks. Should I go ahead? You're gonna wait, buddy. You're not buying nothing, and if you're not buying a car,
no, don't buy a car.
You're not buying a car right now, buddy. Sorry. One, you got nowhere to go to because everything's locked down, right?
Yeah.
Unless he wants to poop the scoop and take off to Mexico, then I would say buy it, right?
Well, that's true. I mean, right now it's don't pay for 120 days. Okay, we'll defer your payments for 120 days. You wait. They're going to defer your payments for 6 months. Then they'll do it for 12 months. Okay, then it'll be like, pay whatever you can. Okay, mm-hmm. We have so much goddamn metal that we have to move. It's not even funny. But yeah, that's the other thing, is you don't want to take on debt in a crisis that you don't have to, and at the same point in time, you don't want to take on debt in a recession. And this recession is going to be way worse than 2008 because of the debt load. It's going to be astronomical. If anybody thinks that house prices are going to rise in Canada, they need to get their head examined. And you know what? If they're members of organized real estate, I'm really sorry for them. But you know what? We're going to see a mass exit from, of real estate agents very shortly, because a lot of people will not go ahead and choose to pay that 15.
Okay, guys, hold on.
That 1,500.
Guys, can you stop swearing in the comments, please? Stop swearing in the comments. All right, continue.
Okay. Yeah. Anyhow,
they're not swearing
so
at you, Steve. It's just a bunch of people getting upset and swearing here. Guys, stop swearing. I'm going to get my video flagged. All right, continue.
So in any event, I was saying a lot of real estate agents are going to be leaving the industry because they're not going to be able to make a go of it. It's already saturated in the greater Toronto area, but you also have to remember, Treb and a lot of other boards are all trying to pump up this narrative that, houses are selling, this and that, so on and so forth. Because they don't want to lose the confidence of the buyer, which has already left the building. But what they're also trying to do is they're trying to collect all those dues from their desk fees and their Ontario regulation fees that amount to about $1,500 to $2,000. I don't know the exact amount, but I know that they are due in basically June, July, and August. So it's right around the corner. And a lot of those people a lot of those agents are going to be like, there's no way. I don't even think I'm going to sell a house this year. And a lot of them, already don't sell any real estate and their licenses are inactive. But in any event, moving forward, we have to look at the big picture here. And, there's, we have over 500,000 people that are out of, basically guaranteed out of work and insolvent right now, based on the overall numbers of mortgage deferrals. Okay, I could get down to the nitty gritty of what bank did what, so on and so forth. Like, for example, I think it's CIBC had 250,000 of those mortgage deferrals. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if all of them were approved, but in any event, we have to look at the big picture, Mike. And the big picture is, let me ask you this. What are the chances that those 500,000 people that got mortgage deferrals for the next 6 months, what are the chances that they're going to get their jobs back within the next 6 months?
46% chance.
Okay, so again, I'll ask this to you again. What are the chances that all 500,000 of those
all 500,000?
Yes, all of them.
All of them? Like less than 5% chance that all of them?
Zero.
No, well,
Zero.
There's a less than 5% chance of 500,000 of them. Okay, maybe 1.5%. Yeah, zero. Okay, fine.
Zero. It is physically impossible that all 500,000, okay, even if you want to just chop it in half, 250,000, okay, it is physically impossible that 250,000 of those people in the next 6 months will return to work. All of them will not return to work. If there is a 0% chance that will happen. Now, you might get out of those 500,000
people. Wait. Take a step back. We might have to go in and start producing our own goods.
That's fine. That's not a problem, Mike. But in the next 6 months, I mean, that's not that's not going to happen in the next 6 months. I know that a lot of retooling is happening, and I know that Lucky Sperm, Mr. Trudeau has now had to realize that his country's in a very vulnerable position.
Hold on. Wait. Stop talking. Wait a minute. You just said that Mr. Trudeau just realized something?
Well, yeah, he had to put away his sippy cup and his coloring book and start to try to run the country, Mike.
Wait, he realized something. Oh my God. Now we're going to war now if he realizes something. We got Atta Urgorsi saying a lot of people in trouble with Airbnb, 2 or more mortgages. Yeah, Airbnb is goodbye. Oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm going to buy an apartment for overpriced and I'm going to Airbnb the crap out of it. Woo!
Yeah, these get-rich landlords or get-rich-quick landlords. It's actually quite funny. They wanted a bailout, and even members of Parliament in Toronto Council. They they just said no, it's not happening. This is ridiculous. You're not getting a bailout. They already know the condo market's going to hell in a handbasket. The condo market, you're going to see. Just as a direct result of what Scotiabank did today, and all other banks will follow suit.
They have to.
Nobody's going to make good on their deposits. These condos are the condo market is going to tank.
Mm-hmm. Living the Dream says, noticed a lot of furnished condos for rent in the market lately, probably because it used to be Airbnb. That's correct. Now, let me fill you in on something. You know, right now in Australia, they have 112% oversupply on their market right now.
Yeah. and you know what, Mike? You remember when people said, oh, you guys don't know what you're talking about. There's no problem. We have a supply problem. They need to build.
My favorite is, let me put my glasses on. When that real estate agent was saying, if you don't buy now, you'll never own.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny. Now we're actually going ahead and we're actually seeing what the real problem is, Mike. We don't have a supply problem, Mike. That supply problem is going to revert fast and hard. We have a problem with lending money out to at least 500,000 Canadians that shouldn't be into the market, that don't even have $2, okay, or $200, okay, to rub together. They should not be homeowners. They should have never been given mortgages. That's the problem.
And not only that, they should stop bailing out the airlines, because local Canadians aren't jumping on planes to fly to places. That's just shoveling in more and more people to bring cash into they see the governments keep bailing out the airlines so they get more foreign money into the country. They're using our tax money. They're using our tax money to bail out airlines that Canadians don't fly on because they're $200 away from insolvency to bring in more cash.
That's right. So at this point, there is a method to the madness. And unfortunately, Mr. Trudeau is probably going to relax the immigration laws and try to do what he can, because, I mean, you can try to bring in foreign money. And I'm not saying that foreign money is not going to come in, okay, illegally. But at the same point in time, there's provisions in place now where they can't do what they say they can do. I know that there is a handful of Asian buyers right now that would love to go ahead and buy certain properties because they're of the opinion that it's a great deal and, it's going to go to the moon. Similar to Kevin Thompson. But anyhow, I think Kevin Thompson's coming around because he's in a little bit of financial hardship himself. But I digress.
I love China.
The situation is they can't get the money out of China. And they can only get so much out at a time. And that's what the current problem is right now, where they couldn't get any money out because of this COVID-19. Like, everything stopped. The entire economy over there stopped. So as a direct result of that, I've been told that there is a very, very good chance that China will actually go ahead and start calling or demanding their money back.
I love China.
From their citizens.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to happen. It will happen. I there's no reason why it wouldn't happen, right? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but listen, I think we need to get one thing straight here. Like, in terms of house prices declining and receding, whether they go back to 2008, 2009, 2012 pricing, whatever it may be, we needed this reset. And housing, with respect to an asset class, needs to be more in line with wages.
Yeah, we discussed this. Proper. Average wage earners own average waged homes, a 3-bedroom bungalow, and then average wage earner moves up at work or gets a raise, then average wage earner has a few kids and moves up to a bigger home and sells first home. Average wage earner moves up to the higher middle class area. That's how it works. It's called building wealth. Now we've been building death. Average wage earner does not own average wage home because average wage home is $1.6 million. And that same home in New Mexico, $90,000.
Yeah, they own debt. They're enslaved, and that's what we don't want. So house prices are going to come back into reality because they must. As it sits right now, I will tell you and disclose to your listeners that the unofficial numbers so far ready to go as soon as the courts open up. Once COVID-19 is kind of sort of tamed and the courts can open back up. As it sits right now, the count between the big five banks, okay, as it sits right now, the toll as of Monday, as of Monday, was 3,500, okay, properties that were ready to be filed for the purposes of foreclosure or power of sale, whichever way you want to call it. 3,500 properties in Ontario.
That's a lot of properties to be filed. So that's gonna start mounting up over time, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things where I don't think that the banks are going to kick people out. I think they will go ahead and secure their position and do what they need to do. If this number grows and grows and grows, they're not going to kick these people out. They're going to keep them in the home. Try to take care of them, pay what you can, so on and so forth. The house will absolutely go up for sale. It must go up for sale. But the bank doesn't, make no mistake, banks and lenders, they don't want to be homeowners. They want to lend their capital out and get a return on their investment, secured underneath real estate. They're not going to hold on to the asset and hope that, it comes back and, wait for some rich Asian person to come over and, overpay for a property and do this and do that. No, that's not what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen is they're going to liquidate these properties for fair market value. And what fair market value is what the Canadian proper is willing to pay for it.
Exactly. Average wages by average home. We're not looking at wealthy. Forget the wealthy. Average wages. If you can't get into an average condo, like an average one-bedroom condo for $130,000, then because that's what the average wage is supposed to give you, right? Because the average wages haven't been keeping up with inflation, we're screwed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, we got 3,500 homes that are ready to go between the big banks once the courts open up in Ontario. I cannot make reference to any other province, but 3,500 are basically ready to go. Obviously, that list is going to grow, and Ontario is a big place, ladies and gentlemen. So don't get too excited. But that just gives you an idea of where things are at. But that number is going to grow substantially. And it's going to continue to grow. But I mean, we're going to have a transformation here. We're going to have a lot of people that are over leveraged become renters. They're going to lose their house and they're going to have to become renters. But guess what happens? The majority of the reason why people rent in the Greater Toronto area is a direct result of them not having enough of a down payment. They probably have some sort of a down payment saved, or at least they did before COVID-19 happened. And they probably had good jobs. But what's going to actually end up happening is those tenants will now become homeowners because those tenants and their down payment will now be enough to get into a house.
Yes.
As house prices recede and decline back to where they need to be, okay, you will now see renters that could never afford now become homeowners. And those homeowners that are way over leveraged, they will now become renters.
Oh my God, Steve, you know what that sounds like? The American dream.
That's pretty funny.
It's true. That's the American dream. Right there. Yep.
Yeah. It's it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a number of different things that you need to look at, and listen, the average real estate agent has no idea how a real estate market even works. Mm-hmm. If you didn't sell real estate in the late 80s, early 90s, you have no idea what the heck you're doing.
Yeah.
And I've been told that there is a very predominant realtor in the Greater Toronto area that is on mainstream media, news, so on and so forth, and has, all this information about, house prices are up 60 or 80% year over year, so on and so forth, and made a direct correlation to February of last year to February this year. And it's just like, all right, well, what did February this year not have in common with February last year?
Diversity is our future.
No,
I'm joking.
Well, that's whatever helps you sleep at night, Mike.
I love China.
No, I'm just reading the comments here. Sorry, I was just reading the comments. Continue, Steve. Yes.
February 2020 and February of 2019 have one thing that doesn't make them the capable or compatible to having year over year, correlations, if you will.
Well, wait till March comes out and we'll see year over year.
Absolutely. But one fundamental thing, we had an extra day in February. So you can't go ahead and say February over February. That extra day, all of a sudden, you could have had, in the Greater Toronto area, 10 or 15 houses, 20 houses. That changes the whole dynamic, first and foremost. Not to mention, everybody to say, sales are up 80% year over year, or 80 or 60% year over year. Houses, have sold. And it's like, you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, that can't possibly be true, because you didn't have a whole bunch of first-time buyers or buyers come into the market. You had people exchanging real estate. They bought bigger homes or they bought smaller homes. You didn't have an influx. So you can't say that sales are up 80%, because that doesn't mean anything. Okay?
Yeah, because the Canadian proper is not getting in the market.
Well, that's just it. And whoever's in the market are making lateral moves. So that number is absolutely hogwash. It means absolutely nothing. All that means is somebody made a lateral move. They got transferred from one part of the city to the other, or they downsized, or they upsized.
Or, Steve, even if they live in the country, because sometimes these people are just moving around homes and they don't even they've never been in Canada.
Absolutely. But that's the whole thing. Like, all this data is there to support the narrative that the housing market is healthy and alive and well, average selling price, so on and so forth. It's all a bunch of hogwash. Those metrics cannot be supported, okay, with actual fundamentals and principles. They are made up by organized real estate for the purposes of selling real estate. Mm-hmm. That is it. And, if somebody wants to challenge me on that, they can, but I'll probably go up one side of them, back down the other. But in any event, the situation is we're in a recession. We're going to hopefully not go into a depression, because that's going to be awful.
Mexico.
M. Howden, hold on. M. Howden in the comments. I know someone who lives in Mexico. Total living expenses, including rent, utilities, and food, $3,600 a year. And it's probably nice weather, right? And the booze is cheap, and just tons of.
Mike, if we move down there, how much? Just imagine how much cocaine we could have, man. Okay.
Tony Montana. No, actually, if you're caught with drugs in
everywhere.
Mexico, they'll kill you. Apparently. Yeah. Luckily, I don't do drugs, so I really don't give a crap. I'm high on life, people. I'm high on lemon water.
Oh, I'm just joking around, Mike. But in any event, what else did you want to talk about, Mike?
Dude, I'm falling asleep. How long have we been talking, dude?
I have no idea. I wasn't. Anyhow, we can leave it there.
No, let me just check here. How long have we been talking? Where's our call? I think I lost our call. Holy crap! We're talking 45 minutes.
Wow, Mike, that's it's interesting. Well, if there isn't any other comments in this section, then I will. We can definitely leave it there. It was a good show. Again, congratulations on.
Hold on, we got Randall Alexander saying 120,000 people let go in the BC film industry.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, M. Howden saying yes, there's gangs, but no, gangs are not everywhere in Mexico. Trust me, Mexico's a big country. Mexico's really big. I lived there for 2 years. Okay, I lived in the state of Guerrero, and that's supposed to be like the big, not the Sinaloa, the Gulf, not the Gulf cartel. Who are the other guys there? Sinaloa, Gulf. There was another cartel there, and I didn't have any problems. And I went all kinds of weird places, too. Like places tourists never go to.
There you go. Mike, there's actually the RBC CEO today, I believe, went ahead and he commented that banks can't take ever-expanding risk in pandemic turmoil. So they're already laying down the laws here and really, truly making people understand that there is a line in the sand that you can't cross, and banks aren't going to, are definitely not going to do that.
No. Scotty Morrison in the comments says it's the Los Zetas cartel. Yeah, Los Zetas, like General Zapata from the southern part of Mexico during the Mexican Revolution. Anyways, yeah. So, you know what, Steve? Let's talk during the week sometime. Well, it's tomorrow's Thursday, but call me sometime during the week like you used to.
Yeah, for sure. It's been busy, and we're just trying to make ends meet here. I've actually had to lay off a considerable amount of people, and that upsets me. I'm probably going to have to do some more by the end of the month, and kind of everybody understands. I mean, everybody's getting laid off from wholesalers to other businesses, and I mean there are. There are actual businesses out there that aren't just going to open back up.
No, I know.
They probably
a percentage of them are. That's correct.
Yeah, and you got to remember the retirement. A lot of entrepreneurs are very close to retirement, and they're probably going to say, you know what? What's the point of working for the next 2 or 3 years to dig myself out of this hole? They're going to go now. They're going to pack it in and say enough's enough and be done with it. They're not going to work another 2 or 3 years to dig themselves out of this recession and this hole, because no one's going to be spending money for a considerable amount of time. This isn't just going to be a light switch that somebody turns back on and everybody goes to spending, so on and so forth. People are going to be very, very worried about going to restaurants. Nobody's getting on, a cruise ship. No one's going to be going to all-inclusive resorts. I mean, travel and tourism in Vancouver and Toronto is dead this summer. Dead.
All right,
just
Steve.
Look at the impacts. They canceled Caravana today.
They canceled Caravana. That was heartbreaking. Guys, there's somebody in the comments here called Area 51. This is actually a personal good friend of mine, Area 51. This is his channel, and I haven't seen him since the lockdown, but here's his channel. He's a personal good friend of mine. If you guys want to check him out, just go there and subscribe. It's something a little bit different than what we're talking. He does a lot of toy reviews and stuff. He's a really cool guy, and he's given me a lot of sound advice over the last couple of years. So check it out, please. It's called Area 51. And please go there and just subscribe and watch a video, or check it out. You might get addicted, because I get addicted to watching the videos and then I just watch them all type of thing and binge watch, and yeah. Anyway, Steve, yes.
Sure. All right, Mike. Well, we'll leave it there. It's good to be with you, and thanks for having me on your show.
Steve, God bless you. We'll talk soon, I promise. Call me Friday or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, Mike.
Adios.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I've been here for like 4 hours. What time is it? 3 hours. It's time to 200th episode, guys, of Trends in the Housing Market. I want to thank everybody for being part of it. It's showing 189 videos here, and I'll explain why. Because I got like 40 videos deleted because some of it was going into heavy discussion about the Australian housing market, and a lot of that stuff got a lot of it got deleted. I'm over 200 episodes. I know I am, with the amount of deleted videos. The McChronicle, we'll have him on next week. Too tired to call, but happy 200th, Mike. Yeah, it's late there where he is.
I love China.
And, well, thanks, Mike. Have enjoyed our chats. Been missing us at the shop. Yeah, I know. Trust me. I've been I went to the shop today and just to go. I had to go pay my PST, and I had to take care of some, pay my bills and stuff. But yeah, the comments are going by pretty quick now again. Yeah, I'm getting tired, guys. When you sit here for 3 hours, it gets on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Evan, you know what? I'll just do a show with Evan tomorrow, man. Tomorrow's Thursday. If Evan has some time, I know he's on lockdown. I don't know if he's on lockdown. I don't know if he's in jail. But if he's on lockdown, I'll just do a show with Evan. I'll just record a show with Evan. And we can just do that. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? M. Howden in the comments. Woo! Yeah.
I love China.
Yeah, guys, thanks for all the super chats. That's a lot of super chat today. I think you guys gave me enough gas. I'm not joking. To get to, I'll show you how far I could drive with the price of gas right now. From where I am, I'll show you how far I could drive. I'm here in Merritt. Let's zoom this thing the hell out. Right here. I'm in Merritt. So the amount of money I got in super chat today, I think it tells me here total. Hold on. Super chat received. Oh, it's not telling me. It's like blank. Okay, so it was about $90, and with the price of gas right now, from where I am, I could jump on the Highway 5 to Abbotsford, take the crossing here, the Sumas crossing, and there'll be enough gas right now. $90, yeah, easy. It would get me I could probably make it to Seattle now. I could easily make it to Seattle with $90 gas right now at the price of gas. And once you cross the border, the gas is a lot cheaper. So like it's actually cheaper. So I think you guys sent me enough money. Because right now, with the gas price, it'll take me $30 to get to the border in gas. And then not even $50 to get me to Seattle in gas. So thanks for the super chat, guys. Guys, I'm gonna do what I said, okay? I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This summer, if this COVID thing is gone, if it's not, then we'll do it next year. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a 5-hour super chat show. You guys come on, give 1, 5, 10, whatever, super chat. I'm going to take that money exactly in super chat, and I'm going to drive with that much gas money. And I'll make a video every hour and show you guys where I am with the super chat gas money. So if you guys send me, let's say, $140, $260, for example, from all the people watching, I'll drive down and I'll see how far I could make it with the exact amount of gas money you gave me. And I think with the $130, I can make it to Salem, Washington right now with the price of gas. Or Eugene, Oregon. Redding, it's too far, Redding. And Sacramento. Yeah, Area 51 is 72 cents in town tonight, Mike. Yeah. Drive across Canada. I've driven across Canada a few times already. Quite a few times. But maybe I want to go America bound more, There's gangs and stuff. Check it out, And I speak Spanish, too. I could go to Mexifornia and talk to people, Anyways.
I love China.
Thanks, Lupa. Thanks, Supreme Cannon. Thanks, Captain Nobody. Thanks, Tignim. Thank you, Randall Alexander. Thank you, Steve the Plumber. Do a 5-hour show tomorrow. Oh, no, man. I'm too tired, man. This takes a lot from you.
I love China.
It really takes a lot from you guys doing this. It really does. This isn't your local CBC or CNN. They go in, put some makeup, sit down. Oh, and another news today. We have a tragic event story then you go to the next channel. In news today, we have a tragic event story. You go to the next channel. In news today, we have a tragic event story. And it's the same broken friggin' record. Anyways. Yeah, Mike, we got some business to do down in Barstow. We got a friend in the desert here. Here's Barstow. I'm going to show you guys where Barstow is. It's east. Where the hell's Barstow? It's like down here somewhere. It's like in the middle of the desert. Barstow, where are you? No, I don't think it's this far. Yeah, we got some business to do down in Barstow if we get down there. Every Canadian, head to the U.S. border now, says Captain Nobody. Thanks, Abbeyfield. Thanks, everybody. I'm tired, guys. I'll see you guys on a Saturday night. Guys, don't forget to go here. Oh, don't forget to watch the series of, if you want to binge watch something, somebody asked me they want to binge watch something. Watch the Merit Harassment series. It's really good. It's called the Merit Harassment series on my channel. And if you also want to check out, go to my home channel, go to the home, go down to Project Tabletop. This is a really good series I did, guys, where I converted the local drug den into a toy store, a game store. Please watch this series, guys. It's different from, get off that whole, this COVID thing, get it off your mind. Just binge watch Project Tabletop. I promise you, you guys will like it. So good night. God bless. Remember, guys, stay safe. And if you can't, be careful. Thanks for watching.